Hey, Void, how you doing? So, this is an odd little movie, but considering it's a Sam Raimi flick, yeah, okay. It feels like a Sam Raimi flick, particularly if you're familiar with the first two Evil Dead. Drag Me to Hell. Very on point title. So, this one is Raimi pretty much returning to his horror roots. This one came out in 2009, and they just throw it all at the screen in this one. So this one, when I came out of this one, I pretty much refer to it as a splat stick because it's a lot of goo, but it's usually done in a more of a comedic bent. The movie takes itself seriously until it doesn't, and then goes back to taking itself seriously. So it's an odd mix, but it does balance it fairly well overall. So Christine Brown is a banker, and she's determined to prove that she's more than just a girl from back on the farm. Her boyfriend is is important, and I don't even know what job he does, but he's played by Justin Long, which I've been seeing a lot of Justin Long lately. Anyway, I'm not sure what company he works for, but he's clearly higher up there, particularly with how high class his parents seem. And she's determined to is gunning for the assistant manager promotion. Well, everything's going fine until, well, she has to make a tough decision to essentially show that she can be a little bit ruthless to get that position. However, that's because that comes down on Sylvia Ganos. They use an outdated term, but a Romani lady who, after being shamed by her in the bank, more accidentally than anything on purpose, as Christine is doing what she can to help, but it's not really her fault what happened. She gets cursed. And then, essentially, then the old woman steals a button, then curses it with a lamia, and gives it back to her. Now, essentially, over the next 3 days, she'll be tormented by the lamia until on the fourth day it appears to drag her to hell. Well, the movie actually has a decent amount of tension in it for a movie that is pretty much a comedy. But at the same thing, it does have a darker ending, and it does not shy away from getting grisly. I mean, they sacrifice a kitten. So, it's definitely a Sam Raimi style of comedy. There is a lot of CG that's going on here, and normally I would have a problem with how some of it looks, but this movie feels like a live-action cartoon at times, particularly with some of the blood and gore effects just being ridiculous. So, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a pass, but sometimes the things with the Lamia do look kind of... So, the CG is glaring at times, but it doesn't feel out of place even though it's glaring, if that makes sense. So I watched the unrated version, which seems to add just even more CG gore just into it, but I don't really know what else it really added beyond that. There's a few areas we can kind of tell where a scene was probably cut down a little bit. I mean, it's like the same length. I think they just had a little bit of extra blood added in here or there. The performances are great, particularly since Christine Brown played by Alison Lohman, has to carry pretty much most of the movie by herself, because usually it's her reacting to everything happening to her, while everyone else just mostly looks baffled. So, she's really the one carrying the whole movie, and she does very good with it. The movie's not, great, but it's humorous enough, and you do want to see what happens with it, so I'm going to give this one a 6 MacGuffins. It's worth seeing, and it's a fun little movie, but you just gotta be prepared not to take it too seriously. With a title like Drag Me to Hell, you should be expecting that already. That said, it's tenser than you'd be expecting it to be, but it's not too much overall there. But I liked it. 6 MacGuffins. See you guys later, Void.